What's going on, everybody? Jackson Fuller here, and this is the StarNewsVarsity Weekly Rundown, where every Sunday I kind of take you through the past week of local high school sports and give you a couple things to look forward to in the upcoming week. I've got a new venue, house sitting for my parents this weekend as they are off frolicking around and enjoying retirement life. So not my back porch today, but still the same awesome content covering local high school sports. And let's start with football. We thought this was going to be a big week in the Mid-Eastern Conference, and what we saw was the favorites taking care of business. New Hanover 51-7 winners over Topsail on Friday night. That was the game I covered, and I was talking to some of the coaches and some people at the game. It didn't feel like New Hanover played a perfect game by any means, and they still won 51-7. The defense was great. Topsail's offense has been terrific all season long, but on Friday night, the Pirates just didn't know what to do against a very fast and physical New Hanover defense. And then the offense just continues to have so many playmakers all over the field that can make plays. And they got a new one on Friday night in the form of Malik Myers, a sophomore, who's expected to be a star for New Hanover on the gridiron and the basketball court in the coming years. And he scored a touchdown on a pass from Chase Nixon. So New Hanover rolls over Topsail. Another favorite in the MEC coming into the season was West Brunswick. They shut out Laney without three defensive starters, 20-0. An impressive victory for West Brunswick. Scoring 20 points is kind of where that offense has been all year long. And with that defense that West Brunswick has, if they can continue to score, in the 20s or more, it's going to be tough to beat the Trojans this season for anybody in the MEC. They're 5-0 for the first time since 1997. And we'll get to the Trojans when we talk about next week. Hoggard, 14-0 winners over Ashley. The Vikings defense, continues to be dominant in the MEC. A lot has changed for Hoggard from last year offensively. Defensively, it's the same very talented unit with a little bit less experience in the back end, but up front, that defensive line is dominant. And Ashley, no points. They got into the Hoggard red zone, I think, once, but turned the ball over on downs. The Vikings 14-0 winners over Ashley, and that's just how it's going to be for Hoggard all season in the MEC. If they want to win their third straight conference title, they're not going to dominate very many teams this year, but they've got a chance with that defense and with Coach Craig Underwood to grind out some victories. Over in Southport, North Brunswick beat South Brunswick 11-6. North Brunswick 4-2 on the year. I mean, I talked to Coach Davis a little bit on Friday night, and I told him, hey, Coach, I know you're banged up and maybe you're not as electric offensively as you'd like to be at this stage, but 4 wins for North Brunswick is something that hasn't come around in a long time, and he knows that, and he's proud of where the kids are. They're a very injury-riddled group right now, but still going to their rival over there in South Brunswick and beating the Cougars with a defensive touchdown. Huge day. I think Josh Gass had that defensive touchdown on a 75-yard interception return for a touchdown. Just 2 other local scores Friday night I want to mention real quick. Pender 16, Trask 14. The Patriots win their first game of the season as the Titans miss a game-winning field goal attempt as time expires. Congrats to Tim Smith and the Patriots over there at Pender. And Whiteville 58, Fairmont 16. The Wolfpack are definitely favorites in the Three Rivers Conference this year. They got shut out by West Brunswick, and I think some people around the state may be like, whoa, Whiteville, 20-0 loss to West Brunswick at home. But more and more, we're kind of getting the sense that that's going to happen to a lot of teams this year against the West Brunswick defense. And against the 2A teams, Whiteville's offense is still going to be pretty damn electric. Let's go other sports in the area. Volleyball was a big week in the MEC. Ashley 3, Hoggard 2 on Tuesday. The Scream Eagles get revenge after getting swept by the Vikings the previous week. Trinity Rosales was great, as she always is, just doing a little bit of everything. Emily Crescenzi was a beast at the middle of the net, and Ashley got important contributions from across the roster. The Screaming Eagles and Vikings are tied in the loss column atop the MEC standings, and it looks like those two teams should run the table and finish tied in the MEC. So that conference tournament is going to determine a lot in terms of playoff seeding. Hopefully we get a third match between those teams in the championship because they've been so good all season. And then New Hanover 3, Topsail 2 that same night. And, those teams are battling for third place in the league, but they're also battling for the number 1 seed when it comes to the MEC's representation in the 3A playoffs. So, and those two teams also, like Ashley and Hawker, have split their 2 regular season meetings. So that the conference tournament is going to determine a lot for Ashley Hoggard. Will it determine a lot for New Hanover Topsail? I don't know. I don't know if those two teams, their current trajectory is they both could be out in the semifinals after losing to Ashley and Hoggard. So they might not get a chance to face off a third time unless this coaches decide to schedule a game. It'll be interesting to see how they determine who will be the top seed in the 3A playoffs from the MEC. And shout out to Coastal Christian Volleyball. On Friday night, they beat Ashley 3-2. They were down 2-0 sets-wise. They came back and won 3-2. The Coastal Christian has wins over Hoggard and Ashley this year. It looks like those three teams, Hoggard, Ashley, Coastal Christian, can all beat each other and are the three best volleyball teams in the area this year. Dudley Ray's got a fine program and a really good team over there at Coastal Christian this year. Boys soccer, we didn't have too many big matchups in the MEC this week, but we did have one, Ashley 3, New Hanover 0 on Tuesday. And what that means is Ashley, New Hanover, and Hoggard all have one loss in the MEC. Already crazy. It's I think 2-3 losses might be enough to get it done. We're going to talk plenty of MEC soccer in just a second. Coastal Christian 4, Cape Fear Academy 1 on Tuesday, and the Centurions clinched their first outright Coastal Rivers Conference Championship in dominant fashion. Tafari Kroom scores 2 goals. He is absolutely in contention for our StarNewsVarsity area boys soccer player of the year. He's such a dynamic threat up top for the Centurions, who now have their sights set on making a deep run in the playoffs. That should be a high seed, and they're hoping to win a state championship this year after watching Cape Fear Academy do it last year. Girls tennis, New Hanover clinched the MEC title, so congrats to the Wildcats. That kind of was wrapped up after they beat Hoggard a couple weeks ago, but they officially are MEC champions now. Next week, boys soccer. Let's get right to it. Tuesday, going to be a huge day in the area. New Hanover at Hoggard, Laney at Ashley. The Bucks have 2 losses. New Hanover, Hoggard, and Ashley, as I mentioned, all have 1. Going to be some separation come Tuesday night. Maybe Laney beats Ashley and New Hanover beats Hoggard. And then on Thursday, New Hanover is at Laney. Maybe Laney beats New Hanover there, and all 4 teams have 2 losses. Of course, maybe Hoggard and Ashley win their respective games and they stay with 1 loss. So you never know. I think the MEC boys soccer race is wide open, just like the football race kind of this year. Real quick, the MEC tennis tournaments get underway this week for singles and doubles. And cross country, you've got the New Hanover County and Brunswick County championships on Thursday. All right, let's talk football. Next week, the game of the week is going to be in Charlotte. I'm going to be making that drive south, Hoggard at West Brunswick. The Vikings, 2-time defending champions. West Brunswick, they haven't been this good since 1997 when Yogi Hickman, who is Brett Hickman, the current head coach at West Brunswick father, was the leader for the Trojans. And West Brunswick 5-0 for the first time since 1997. They haven't outwardly talked about winning a conference championship, but I know inside that program they have been whispering and telling each other, we can do it. We can win a conference championship this season. They've got to make the statement and beat Hoggard on Friday night. The Vikings have had a tight grip over the MEC for the past 2 years, almost 3, but 2 years now they've won the league. They're trying to win it a 3rd straight time. Huge game in Charlotte. I expect the crowd to be rocking out there. Hopefully a great environment. The other 3 MEC games next week, New Hanover at Laney, another test for the Wildcats. I know the Buccaneers lost 20-0 to West Brunswick, but Laney's played New Hanover tough at each of the past 2 seasons. Ashley goes to North Brunswick, and North Brunswick, wow, they could be 5-2 if they take care of business at home and beat Ashley. Just a really impressive turnaround for the Scorpions, even with those injury problems. And then South Brunswick at Topsail. The Cougars and Pirates both 0-2 in the league after getting off to great starts in the non-conference. Both teams desperate for a win to kind of get their season on the right track. As always, Twitter at StarNewsVarsity, Facebook.com/StarNewsVarsity, StarNewsVarsity.com has all of our high school sports coverage in the area. I appreciate you guys who watch this video every week. It means a lot to me. Follow along on Twitter and Facebook and anywhere else you can, our YouTube channel, where hopefully you're watching this on right now. And enjoy the coming week of high school sports. It should be a good one with boys soccer and football kind of taking center stage this week, along with the girls tennis tournaments coming up. Have a good one, everybody.